What is up, everybody? It's here today, and we have to talk about Sony's DualSense Edge because it's getting close to release date. Most of these companies have had their reviews, their impressions, and one of the big impressions so far, the big takeaway people got from this controller, is that it improves everything else in the regular DualSense controller, but the major issue is that the battery life is terrible. Now, in general, the Sony's controllers in general, since like the PS3 generation, the battery life has always been terrible for those controllers. And apparently this one makes it even worse. It's like a weird trade-off. You get the better features, the more functionality, and the more customization with this new $200 controller at that. But it goes one big step backwards because the battery life is terrible. Now, I know back in the day, even probably to this day, Sony fans used to make fun of Xbox guys because they use batteries, double A batteries, but the battery method is still a lot better. The buying the battery method or buying the battery pack as well you can do as well. That's still been a better method than Sony's approach. When it was like these controllers die within like 6 hours. This one was probably even worse. Probably like it's 3 hours for this one. It's like you gotta constantly have your controller hooked up, or when you take it off the cord, you look up and the controller's dead. You gotta charge it up again. So I don't know. It's like I'd definitely take the Xbox form of controlling the battery than Sony's. But yeah, just the fact that it's a lot more expensive, almost 3 times, a little bit over 3 times the price of a regular controller, and you're getting less battery life. It's not good in my opinion. So it just seems crazy that they couldn't improve the battery life. Like, really? How do you make it worse? I don't know. It just seems Sony takes a big L on this controller, in my opinion. But let's see what we got to say about this. Damn, the only issue then, but by the time my controller is dead, I want to stop playing anyway. so this guy just accepts that his controller is going to die, and that's when he stops playing. So, like, what type of weird stuff is that? I don't know. People just A-OK the controller down within like 3 hours and say, hey, I guess I'm done playing when the controller dies then. That's just weird. The PS5 controller already has the shortest battery life of any of the PlayStation controllers. So if this one lasts even shorter, I am gonna pass out. Facepalm. I knew it. I thought I was tripping at first, but this controller dies quicker than a PS4 controller, and that controller is notorious for dying out really fast. It's like this might as well be considered a wire controller at this point, because you got to keep the thing wired. It's going to die out instantly. So I just don't see the purpose of this. I guess unless people want to use wire controllers in 2022, but advertising it as wireless is a big stretch because it's going to die extremely fast. People are complaining about battery life, like you can't just plug in and continue to play. It's like, unless you want to be really close to your TV, unless your setup is really close to the TV. But if your setup is far away from the TV, then that's a big issue. So I don't see how he doesn't get that. And that sounds bad. The controller itself seems really cool, but shorter battery life is an important L. Longer battery life was definitely a perk that I expected from a Pro controller. Yeah, even Nintendo controllers. I think everybody else's controllers last longer than Sony's. Like the Nintendo Pro controller lasts longer. The Xbox controller definitely lasts longer, and I think Sony just has the worst battery situation out of the three. The Elite 2 lasts 40 hours, and the DualSense Edge will last less than 10. I think 10 is being super generous. So Sony didn't think to add a better battery life to their premium controller. Their fans are gonna eat it up regardless. Why should they? I was like, their fans are gonna eat it up regardless because there's a Sony brand on it. Their fans are gonna buy it and not gonna say worried about the battery life being so crappy. The battery life for the DualSense Edge can't be shorter than it already is. Unplugs the DualSense Edge. Let's start gaming, baby. The controller says, and it's gone. So it'll last an hour. This is a big L. I already have 3 DualSense controllers. Man, let's do about 3 of them. Jeez. Why do I have to buy 2 of these for a gaming session? You know what? This is what Sony fans got to go through, buying multiple controllers just to go through a gaming session. Like, because the one controller might die out fast. That's just terrible. Jeez. Uh, 20-minute battery life, great. The DualSense battery life already stinks. LOL pass. So it's not really getting a good reception so far online. Shorter battery life than the original facepalm. The original is awful as it is. Yeah, I just can't see myself paying $200 plus tax. The controller lasts longer than the original. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you buy that? But I guess some people wanna spend money on it. I guess to each their own. This is just gross to hear. It is not, and I'm not in the direction I was hoping for. Yeah. Moderately less battery life and an enthusiast peripheral? Yeah, no thanks. It should offer the same or more. Whether it has more features or not, moderately less is simply ridiculous and unacceptable. Okay. Don't really care. I always have mine plugged in while playing. So I guess if you already got yours plugged in consistently, and want to treat it as a wired controller when it's like this kind of crazy in 2022, then hey, go right at it. I guess it wouldn't phase you. Yikes, the DualSense barely lasts a few hours. Meanwhile, I haven't charged my Switch Pro controller in weeks. Yeah. How is Nintendo? Nintendo is usually the farthest behind it technology-wise, but when they're doing more advanced stuff with their controller than Sony, that's a bigger problem. Sony really needs to improve the battery life. And it's been the complaint for the past few generations that their controller charge life is just complete dog crap. But they never improved that situation with the controllers. If Sony's going to insist on using internal irreplaceable batteries, then they should at least invest in some decent quality ones. The batteries are the number 2 reason why I dislike Sony controllers. PlayStation quality. As the guy just cracking up. Okay. Moderately shorter. Man, I have 2 controllers for a reason. Sounds miserable. So I'm starting to see a trend that a lot of these Sony guys got more than 2 controllers because of their short battery life with other controllers. It's like that seems like a huge finesse from Sony's end because they get to pay for 2 controllers instead of 1. So this is an L. I was looking forward to it, hoping the battery life would be better. Yes, I mean that would be the logical thing that you would think that everything would be improved upon the new controller, especially a premium price controller that's $200 worth. But Sony just couldn't do it. They couldn't improve the battery life. They couldn't make it better. It's just mind-boggling with this company. For the payers, literally, you're paying a lot more, and you're getting worse battery life. Say what you want about Xbox using deadweight batteries. That's what I'll say too, bro. They can make all the jokes about deadweight batteries in 2022, but at least the batteries is a better option of what Sony's offering, especially for a $200 controller. But until Sony upgrades the crappy battery of their controllers, I'd rather they just use deadweight batteries too. I have a bunch of rechargeable deadweight batteries. Okay. Might as well just make it wired at that point. How you make a more expensive controller worse and try to justify that is insane to me. And people will eat up. That is the sad part. Yeah, we know their fan base, their loyalists, will definitely defend Sony on this nonsense for making a triple the price controller, but it dies quicker. But it has more features, though, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's going to be the defense to this. My original PS5 controller already has bad battery life as it is, and a barely functioning triangle button. Jeez. For the price of this thing, I could buy 3 Nintendo DS's, and all of them would have better battery life. Sony does not understand its consumer base. Yet again, ponies are paying more for less. Facepalm. I'm still buying it, okay. Just a heads up, my Switch Pro controller lasts about 2 to 4 weeks on one single charge. That's insane. And Xbox One controller lasts about a month on a single charge. You shouldn't be paying this much money for something that lasts one play session per charge. Insane. It's like, why is it that big of a difference? How does Nintendo battery and Xbox batteries last that much longer than Sony's? It's just mind-boggling. Now, at least with Xbox, you get to change it because you can buy like batteries that depends on whatever battery brand you use. But Sony just takes the L again in the battery department, even at a premium price, at premium price point. Unacceptable. Sony, stop with this nonsense. You want to take PlayStation to the upper echelon with premium products that don't skip on the small things. How much are they really saving with this garbage battery? Like, they could put a premium battery in this premium controller. You think they would put a premium battery in the premium controller, but just no. They got to use some cheapo battery, the fuel of the DualSense Edge, the new controller. Be the PS3 controller, battery lasts days, weeks. This guy's definitely capping. I don't remember that PS3 controller lasting that long, and that PS3 controller felt like a Fisher Price toy, but how like light it was. I hated that PS3 controller with a passion. At least with the 5 and 4, it got some more weight to it, but that PS3 controller was terrible. So it costs more money for less battery life. Okay. Hey, as the Sony fanboys say, that quality cost. $200 Pro controller doesn't improve its predecessor's biggest flaw. Nice. That is just, it just gets sadder and sadder. It's just really like, I'm gonna include it right here though, but it is just sad. Like, you got to they advertise this as the premium product for Sony with the newest PS5 controller, but they cheap out on the battery. Like, why? It's like, how do you have a Nintendo Switch, which is pretty much what my understanding is, a Nintendo Switch, like the status of Nintendo Switch is like obsolete, pretty much in my understanding. But the controller life is still a lot better, which is just insane. So I don't know. I think this is completely ridiculous that you're paying almost 3 times the price for a battery life. That's just terrible. So I don't know. But people are still going to buy it anyway, so it is what it is, I guess. To each their own. But definitely share your thoughts down below about this. Leave a like if you like this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.